Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
And today we're going to take a look at Valeria Card Kingdoms. Now, this was put out by Daily Magic Games. Plays 2 to 5 people in roughly an hour, maybe? What does it say there?
30 to 45 minutes.
30 to 45 minutes. What? So, there we go. Okay, so let's take a look and see what you get in the box. Okay, so this is what you get in the box with Valeria Card Kingdoms. As you probably guessed from the name of the game, this is a card game. Actually pretty similar to games like maybe Machi Koro or, I don't know, maybe a stretch, but Dice City. But this is a game where you have all these people that you can recruit and then they activate when you roll dice. So the basic premise behind the game is that you are a duke who is come to power and you want to rule and reign in your kingdom, but there are these horrible, awful monsters that are out there, and so you have to defeat them, but you hire or recruit citizens from the realm to help you defeat them and to conquer domains. And so then you become whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is the winner. So let's talk about the components that you get with this game. First thing that we wanted to mention, Tim even mentioned, is just the beautiful insert that you get with this box, and we'll show you kind of the full zoomed in version of that.
It's stunning.
It actually is pretty nice, and which not all games do that, and so we appreciate it when they do it well. They even give you these cool foam things in here so you can get all your cards in here, spacers that are good. They even put little spacers in here to cover up where your pieces go, because not only is this a card game, but they give you some beautiful wooden bits that come with this that are actually just fun to hold.
Really?
For me, they are.
Like you open up the box and you just pour all the tokens out.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just sitting at home playing with the tokens.
Counting my tokens.
But I think that they're bright colors, they're nice, they're shaped well, they're just quality throughout. They've got some of these other cardboard pieces here that have to do with some stuff on the board as you play. Multipliers. And then the artwork, I think, is some of the best artwork that I've seen in a card game. I love the style. It's quirky, it's different. It's not what you see in a lot of games, but I think it's quality throughout. So they've got a ton of cards that come in the base game, and so they give you a starter setup, and then there's actually other cards that you can pull out. So you can play this to get going, but then you can pull other cards out, so they have different ones, kind of like almost like a Dominion type, where there's just all different kinds of cards in there, and then you pick which ones you want to play with that round, and you put those out on the board. And so the artwork, the quantity of cards that you get, all of this stuff, I'm just a huge fan of it. So.
Look at these big, huge dice. Even Rod could roll these, right?
Could. There's no
way. They got
way.
some weight to them. Listen to hit that table.
These are not the small dice that we've complained about in the past. So these are nice sized dice with very easy to read numbers.
Very easy to read.
For his poor eyesight. So
nice contrast on those dice.
Tim, do you want to talk to us about the rules? How hard or easy is it to learn Valeria?
It's not actually a very thick rule book here. It's actually a pretty simple game to learn. They do a great job. They even have the scan code so you can learn it online if you prefer to watch a video instead of perhaps reading through the instruction booklet. But it does the things that it needs to do. It shows you all the pieces and describes them with the names that it uses later. The diagram for the initial setup, which is always a must. No instruction booklet should be without this. To have this picture, it walks you through step by step of each row of setting it up. But basically, you're just trying to make it look like this. So the first part of the instruction booklet is just covering that part. And it does a great job, so you don't have any questions. You get it out, you lay it out, but then you can get started. And then it just describes the 4 phases of the game, which technically it's 3 phases. The intern is just an intern. But then the big meat of the instruction booklet is just describing what the little icons on the cards mean, what they do, and everything, because there's a lot of iconography. Yes, that word. There's that in this game, much of it.
There is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it basically, you will be going back to the instruction booklet over and over again to look and figure out just to get it right. Once you play your first game, you'll have this down.
A couple rounds even,
Yeah. And then it's got a quick reference on the back for the play rounds and stuff. So you remember when you're supposed to do things.
And reference cards.
And reference cards, which actually is nice because it has the symbols and stuff on it.
Yeah, so they do a pretty good job. Let's talk about how to play the game so you can decide if this is something that you want to get for you and your gaming group. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to shuffle up the Duke cards, and everybody gets a Duke card. And so this gives you some special end-game conditions. So at the end of the game, you score a certain amount of points for different things that you have. So it could be tokens that you have left over. It could be the type of people that you've recruited in the game, things like that, and then there's different multiples of that. And so this is something helpful for you to do during the game, because not only does it help you think about which resources you want to hold on to, but it really gives you an idea of which citizens you would like to recruit, because you get extra points for that. Right. This is kept hidden during the game, so nobody else knows that. Okay, you get a starting peasant and a knight, and so you put those in front of you, and then you begin the game. So I think that there's some resources that they give you to start with. So let's talk about those real quick, just so that you know. There is magic, there's strength,
right?
Gold, strength, and victory points. Okay, and so victory points are just given to you off of cards, so you're not really actually going to use this for trade, but it's these three basic resources that you're going to use throughout the game. So different.
These three.
Yeah, these three, not those. You'll receive those, but then you'll use these three. And so the special thing about magic is like a wild, right? And so you can use this in place of either gold or strength. The only catch is, in order to use magic as strength, you have to have at least one strength. So let's say the requirements to do something cost you 3 strength, then you could use one of these and then 2 strength, or just one of these and 2 magic, and then you would meet the criteria and pay the bill. And so that's how magic works, which is kind of a unique concept, I think. And so on your turn, what do you do, right? So you're going to be rolling the dice, and the dice activate the citizens that you have in front of you. So like on this particular one, I rolled a 4 and a 5, and so I got a 5, and so then this would activate. And so there's different ways that these things activate, if you rolled the dice or if your opponents rolled the dice. And so they have this split in half, and it's pretty easy to tell. The single icon means you did it, the other icon means that they did it. And so I rolled the peasant, so regardless of whether I did it or somebody else did it, I would get 1 gold for that. And then the other thing, if I had a 4, then I would activate my 4, and also the 9 if I had a 9. So you take each individual one and the combination of those dice. So you're going to be activating a lot of cards. You should be activating a lot of cards throughout the game. So maybe unlike Machi Koro, where you only get, the one item that's rolled or the combination of both dice that are rolled, this is letting you activate a lot of things a lot of times. Yeah. And so you're going to be getting a lot of resources and then doing something with them. So on your turn, you roll the dice, you get your resources, and then you buy things, right? Or try to defeat things.
Yeah.
And so the cards have listed what they cost for you to buy them, and then they tell you at the bottom of the card what the reward is to get it. So on my turn, then I could buy a card. I forget how many you can buy. Is it just 1 card on your turn? Or no, you can buy
whatever you can afford.
Whatever you can afford. So all the resources you got, you can go broke on your turn and get.
Yeah, this is definitely a game about massing huge amounts of resources and just pouring it onto the board.
Yeah, and so you can do that. So you can recruit citizens based off of that, and then you can also defeat monsters. And so then these monsters kind of scale up, right, and how hard they are to defeat. And so this one, like this skeleton right here, takes 2 strength to beat, and then he gives you 2 victory points for that, and you also get a reward for beating him, which is 1 gold. And so then they go all the way up, where now it's going to be a little bit harder. It takes 8 to defeat the skeleton king instead of 2 to defeat the regular skeleton. And so you want to keep going up, and those are going to give you more and more victory points and different things that you're going to get out of those. So you can defeat monsters on your turn, and then you can also conquer these domains. I don't know what the term is, but there's domains at the bottom that are going to give you like perpetual abilities that you're going to be so it could either be an ability that you can use throughout the game, or it can be an instant reward, right? So it's something that you get then, and then that's it. And so these also have a cost on them at the bottom, and then they give you victory points for getting them. But the only other condition to getting this card is at the top left. It shows you an icon of a citizen that you have to have in your tableau, I guess, in order to take this domain. So even if I had the money to conquer the Cutthroat's Truce, I couldn't if I didn't have these 2 characters in my hand. And so that makes you want to recruit characters of a certain type. And if the icon is listed twice, then you have to have 2 of those people. And so that might be something that you might miss the first time you play, is making sure that somebody meets all the requirements to get these domains. But these can be super powerful, right? You get these, and then you almost gear your game now towards the abilities that you have. And so it's a really cool, easy to play, plays really close to the time, 30, 45 minutes, and you're just getting all these guys, and then they combo, and you do all kinds of stuff. And so there's some really good combinations of getting this guy with that guy. And so in order to get, like, say, a 6, you might get a 5 and a 1 until you know the 1 goes with the 5 really well, and all those kinds of things. And then that's how you play. It just goes back and forth, find cards.
Don't forget that these things stack, because you can have more than one of each of these guys, and then they get more expensive the more that you need to buy.
That's right.
And so it's all about the combos there, because then you can activate the numbers in any order that you want. So So if you need gold on this one guy over here, you can activate the guy that actually gives you gold first,
and then you spend
spend the gold on this other guy over here. So.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool things, manipulation of stuff. If you like that kind of thing, okay, I can do this, and then I'm going to trade it, and then I have this special ability that says I can do that. You end up doing these, like, combo type things that are just a lot of fun to put together.
Yeah, I think when we played, that was the most time we spent, was during that phase, like, talking about, like, well, this is what I'm going to do. Here we go. And you start going through your step-by-step process of going back and forth between the different guys to get your stuff. Because the other phases are just you grabbing stuff off the board. I'm spending this money, I got this.
Right.
And then that's...
And so the downtime in the game is still beneficial to you, because you're able to, even when they roll, you get stuff. So it's not like you sit around and they're doing all this stuff and then you're waiting for your turn. And then there's other cards that happen in the game where it's like, if somebody has, like, let's say they have magic left over, you have a card that says you can steal it from them. Yeah. So the more people there are around the table, the more options you have to do that, as opposed to just a 2-player game. But even in the 2-player game, and there's actually you can play the solo as well, I forgot. But in the 2-player game, you're still able to do some things against each other. And so I think it scales well, with different players and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's not very competitive in the fact that you're attacking the other person a lot. There are some cards in there, like you said, to steal stuff. But it's not like those people that really don't like the very...
Take that.
Yeah. That's not in this game. It's more of like you're playing your own game with amassing riches and pouring it out there.
But to me, there's just so much fun in, I roll the dice, oh, what do I get? Oh, that's cool. And then you instantly get to spend it and do things. There's something so rewarding and arcade-like about that, where you're just doing something instantly. So,
and you're more mad about the roll the guy did than anything he tries to steal from you. You're like, how could you do that again? Like, I don't have any ones.
Then, I didn't have a 7 the whole game, and you're like, why did I not buy a stupid 7? Because it hit so many times. And then, like I said, about being able to change out cards, and so you're getting a different gameplay every time. So you might have a priest, or then you might have a monk, and so that plays differently. They've already got 2 expansions to this that are super cheap. So I actually recommend, when you buy the base game, go ahead and get the expansions, because they're not that much. And then they add so much. They add events, which is something we didn't mention here. So they add events into the game. And so it's really cool. They did this through Kickstarter originally, and now they've actually done 2 more successful Kickstarters after that, which I backed. But so I'm totally into this world.
That in there.
I'm totally into this world, and I'm loving it. And so they're definitely supporting this, and I think because of how well it's done, I think they're going to continue to support this. So for me, kind of just to throw this in there, I've got Machi Koro, which I really enjoy, but this totally kills Machi Koro for me, because I like the theme better, for one, the magic and fighting and doing all that kind of stuff instead of just building your own little world. It adds a little bit more to it because you're killing monsters and doing domains instead of just building my little city. There's a lot more interaction because of the way that the dice hit better. The trading of the resources, to me, instead of like in Machi Koro, you're just using money and buying things. Now I have magic, money, and strength. There's just so much better. So if you're considering which one should I get, like miles and miles ahead, definitely get this one. So,
well, let's get to the last part.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay, so at the end of our review, we like to do a simple 1 die rating. Should you buy it, play it, or hate it? So green means go buy this game and add it to your collection. Shut
I
up.
think he gave it away.
Shut up.
already.
Okay, I should have waited to say all that. Okay. So green means go buy it. White means maybe you should just play it but not buy it. And then red means you hate it, don't buy this game. So, should I? Okay. Can you go ahead and show yours and reveal? It's a white. And I gave it a green. So
Like I bought into all the Kickstarters.
I bought every Kickstarter. It's a white. Okay, so tell us your terrible reason to why you would just give it a white. You know,
I mean, I like playing these games. All right, for me, they're not something I go out and look for.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
like Dominion and all those other types where they have this. You're building a deck, kind of. You're not
Yeah.
shuffling through it. It's all laid out in front of you, and you're just getting
Exactly.
stuff from the things, which I like better
Uh-huh.
technically than going through a deck of cards over and over again, just trying to set your deck up. I like having out there with the combos and stuff. So I do prefer this over all those other games. That it's just not the style of game that I go out looking for. But if it comes out on the table, I'll play it.
Yeah. For me, this hits all the buttons for me, like I've said probably for the last 10 minutes. So I won't recap what I've said already, but I definitely like this game, and I think that you should buy it. So there you go. Okay, so that's our review of Valeria Card Kingdoms. Go check it out and see if this is something you want to buy. And make sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, BoardGameCloset.com. We're everywhere. And as always,
Support your local hobby shop.
do it. Go support them.